Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to Australian versus Canadian accent. We've got two people here. I'm not sure who's going to be presenting what side of the equation, but let's see how they compare.
Hello everyone, if this is your first time tuning into my channel, my name is Karina, and this is...
I'm Joel.
That's Joel. You may or may not know that Joel and I have been traveling together for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I thought I would take the opportunity to film a video with him. So, Joel is from Australia, I am from Canada. I thought it would be a funny idea to make an accent video. So, we are going to be saying a bunch of words that we say very differently because of our respective accents.
Now I am curious to see how close these end up being because we've seen an American before, but I know that Canada has more of a British influence, obviously like Australia does, and so I wonder if some of these things, whatever they pull out of the bag, are going to be similar or not.
At the end, Joel has made some sentences that are very typical Australian slang.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Not typical, anyways, they're just very
slangy.
He's gonna say them, I'm gonna have to try and translate them and maybe attempt an Australian accent.
For sure.
So I have all of the words on my phone and we are just gonna go for it. So the first word is towel.
Towel.
Ooh.
Caramel.
Caramel.
Caramel. Pajamas.
Pajamas.
Aluminum.
Aluminium.
See, I have to pause it there because what with that one? That is aluminium. That is aluminum. I never understand why there is a difference there because it is quite clear. Like, it's a thing. You can't be changing the name of the thing, putting an I in or taking it out. And it isn't the same exceptions where the Americans take out the U and the British put the U in. No, this is just completely weird because it's meant to be an extra I in there. And so if it does have the extra I in there, it has to be aluminium. But if it doesn't, then phonetically it has to be aluminium. I mean, if we come back to the caramel one, it's a similar thing because they just say caramel. Completely forget the second A, caramel, where in reality you say it caramel. It's very simple, but apparently Americans and North Americans just do not understand it.
Leisure.
Leisure.
Oh.
Leisure.
So weird.
Leisure.
I still don't know if it's just you that says it like that or all of Australia.
No, it is definitely all of Australia that says leisure. And to be fair, looking at how that is spelled, I can understand where you're getting leisure from, but I don't know why it would deviate like that. Leisure or leisure? I'm definitely seeing both, and now I'm wondering if I saw that word for the first time, how would I pronounce it? I think I would pronounce it leisure because it's got the L-E-I, leisure, whereas leisure kind of omits the I, and so I guess we're just trading blows about what letters we get rid of.
I still don't know if it's just you that says it like that or all of Australia.
It's leisure.
I've never heard that.
Leisure.
Okay.
People in Australia, it's leisure.
Okay. Banana.
Banana. Banana.
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Oh, that is definitely not a common word. I did not expect that to come up here. Dynasty or dynasty? I think the more common one for me to hear would be dynasty, but I don't know if that's only because I'm hearing it online from other American people and I never ever hear it in an Australian sense. And so I guess that will be the hard thing with some of these. If it's words that I just basically never hear, because who is saying dynasty, or I guess I just said dynasty, but who is ever talking about the Japanese or the Chinese dynasty? Well, that's completely confusing because I just swapped it around. So yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. That one is certainly confusing, and I guess that just is a flip-floppy word depending on where the context lies.
Herbs.
Herbs. It's got a H. Herbs. H. Herbs.
Weird.
Disgusting.
Weird.
Oh my God,
Weird.
I say weird.
Yeah, you say weird.
Weird. I sound so
Weird.
like...
Ugh, it's so punchy, like weird instead of weird. It's weird. You're doing so much extra stuff with your mouth on just how you pronounce it. Weird. I guess Australia just has more of a hard or more of a full D at the end. We have weird and they have weird, but something about it just triggered a memory kind of in my ear more so than anything, just going, oh, that sounds like Eva or Wally, either one of the two.
Massage.
Massage.
I've been almost starting to say massage since I'm hanging out with these songs.
Massage.
Water.
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 Car.
Car.
Barley.
Barley.
See, this is where I get like confused because you guys say the same way
As
the
in
place.
like, yeah, the place.
Like say Bali. Like
Bali.
say Bali. We're going to Bali.
We're going to Bali.
I'm cooking some barley.
Wait, how did she say it then?
Car.
Car.
Barley.
Oh, that is strange. I've never ever made that connection that we say barley like barley. Yeah, it's an identical word. And I'm not even sure how else to pronounce it. She seemed to give an example. She said barley, because if you break down barley into two words, you have bar like a pub, so bar, and lee. And so then if you broke down the place barley, how else would you say that? Because you have bar and you have lee. So yeah, I guess English is just dumb because sometimes you pronounce certain letters and sometimes you don't. And often they're just pronounced the same.
Say Bali. Like say Bali. We're going to Bali.
We're going to Bali.
I'm
Going to
cooking some
Bali.
barley.
I'm cooking some barley.
It's pretty similar though.
Same thing. This is not okay. Narrator.
Narrator. Narrator.
To narrate. Narrate. I say dairy.
It's in the room.
Tomato?
Tomato.
The classic.
Tomato?
No accent challenge video would ever be complete without the tomato debate. I mean, they didn't debate it, but at least with this word, I can understand how they're deviating from each other. It's literally just an A, but it changes the whole word. It's pretty insane. I guess phonetically, American English is more correct because there isn't an R there. If it was tomato, then it would be like an Australian or British as well, I can only imagine. And coming back to narrator, that was another one where my ear just went, that is Wally, that is Eva, right there, nothing about it. It's just so robotic. I think it's the AR and the OR, narrator. It is just this long drawn out R that just sounds so weirdly robotic to me. But I guess that just all comes from the same place of Wally and Eva and Siri and every other kind of voice assistant, whatever you want to call them. They're all going to be American pronunciations. Well, they were originally, now you got options now.
Crackers?
Crackers.
Crackers.
Cheese and crackers.
Beer?
Beer.
Yeah.
Beer. You should spell it like they do in Vietnam. B-I-A.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it would make more sense because we absolutely just go beer. I mean, it does matter how quickly you say the word, because if it's long and drawn out, then you might say, oh, that's one hell of a beer. And different accents are going to lend themselves to different things. But if you go, oh, that's a hell of a beer, you might have a tiny A at the end, but it's not going to be the focus of the entire word, unlike beer.
Palm?
Palm tree.
Okay, but I think I've been told that I say palm weird. Like I pronounce the L too much.
So it's like palm tree.
Palm. Whatever.
Palm.
Garage?
Garage.
Fire?
Fire.
Okay, I say
Fire.
fire weird too apparently. Fire.
Why does she say it weird? It doesn't sound weird. It sounds, I mean, it doesn't even sound different. It just sounds like someone talking. But once again, Australia just omits kind of the last letter of whatever the word is and just puts an A on there instead. And so instead of fire, it becomes fire? I don't know. That sounded the same. I don't know how you pronounce an RE differently besides fire. I mean, I guess the other example is palm. We definitely just kind of get rid of the L. It's kind of like an L'd R in a way, but it's definitely P-A-R-M. Palm. Instead of palm? I don't even know how to say it. Palm. Whoa, that's so weird. I don't think my mouth has ever made that shape before, but anyway.
Okay, I say fire weird too apparently. Fire. Theater?
Theater.
Once again.
Camera?
Camera.
Okay, I would say that the same.
That's pretty cool.
Because it's got an A on the end already, you know, you don't have to change it. It's not an RE or anything like that. No, camera already ends with an A, and so it's camera and it's camera. That's why it makes sense, and that's why they sound the same.
Banana?
Banana.
Oh wait, we've already said it. Tiger?
Tiger. I think we just don't pronounce our ERs.
Well,
We just
did it take you this long to realize that?
Replace it with an A. Tiger.
Did it take you 21 years to realize that you don't pronounce yours?
Tiger.
Okay, last one. Hall.
Hall. Like a hallway.
Like a hallway.
Yeah.
Hall?
Like a hall.
Okay, so when I went to school in Australia, I always thought people were saying hole when they were saying hall.
Like you did.
Like
Just
digging
dig
a hole. Yeah.
Oh, hole. I guess I can understand how that would sound similar to a non-Australians here, but you've got hall and you've got hole. Wow. Like the hull of a ship. H-U-L-L, H-A-L-L, and then you got H-O-L-E. Like there's two words in there that are pretty similar, and then one being hole, which is completely different to the others. And then don't even get me started on hole, W-H-O-L-E. That's just a completely different thing because English is just dumb like that. You suddenly shove a W on the end. It's pronounced the same, but means something different.
Okay, so those are all the words.
Alright, here we go.
So now Joel has
Here
put
we
together some sentences that he's going to. Okay, so you're gonna say it, then I'm gonna translate, and then I'm gonna try and say it like you.
No, you're gonna translate. Yes, okay. Just gonna go for a Macca's run with the boys for brekkie. I'll pop down in the ute and be back in a half. Catch ya.
Oh, that's a long sentence to say, and I'd love for everyone down in the comments below to go, ooh, what do you think that means? Break down as much as possible. We can listen to it again, or I can put the entire sentence on the screen now, and I would love to know if people can perfectly translate it, because it's not too complicated, but there's a couple in there that are definitely Australian terms.
Okay, just gonna go for a Macca's run means just gonna go to get McDonald's.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the boys for brekkie means with my guy friends for breakfast.
Yep.
I'll pop down in the ute means I'll get there in my pickup truck. And be back in half
Yes.
is and be back in half an hour. Catch you, like, see you soon. See you later.
Yeah.
I'm so Australian.
Well, look, I have to give credit where credit's due. She definitely nailed that entire thing. I can't validate the fact that she wasn't just presented it on a silver platter and she doesn't have prior experience. Actually, no, she said she went to school in Australia, so clearly there's something else going on here. But like I said, you do have to give credit where credit's due. We'll see how she progresses over the next few. Hopefully they get even harder and maybe not even longer, because that was quite long, but just even more Australian even. So then we'll see how she goes and hopefully how everyone in the comments goes down below. If you can translate every single one, you're clearly just Australian, I can only imagine.
Might go for a ride on the pushy today. On the way back, I'll drop into the servo and grab a slushie, then kick back in the arvo and chill out, maybe have a feed later on.
It's so long.
Wow. Okay. Might go for a ride on the pushy today is might go for a bicycle ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the way back, I'll drop into the servo. On the way back, I'll drop into like the service station or gas station.
Yeah.
And grab a slushie and grab a slush. That's a good name.
Yes.
Then kick back this avo.
This Arby.
Okay.
Yes.
Kick back this avo means then I'll just like relax this afternoon
Yes.
and chill out. Maybe have a feed later. So and chill out is like universal. Maybe have some food after. Okay.
Well, yeah, once again, she clearly has prior experience because I cannot fault her in anything there. I mean, I guess once you know the framework about how Australian is actually structured in terms of, oh, you basically just chop the word in half and you can probably take a guess from there. Take afternoon, for example, you just go avo. Take avocado, for example, you go avo. Pretty similar, different things, but given all the other surrounding context of in the afternoon, you're going to go the servo and all these things, I reckon most people should be able to figure that one out. It is only when you say the entire thing in its entirety to a non-Australian that they're just getting lost in all the words and they lose you from the start. But the main thing that got me in that whole thing is how vivid that image was for me. I could just picture the whole thing. Generally, if you're going on your pushy and there's a service station involved, it's going to be around a beach, and the entire image just kept forming in my mind as they just continued that entire sentence, even though it was a long sentence.
Okay.
I'm not Australian accent.
Oh,
Really? Okay. Okay, ready?
This is the test.
It's my Australian accent. Here we go. Don't laugh. Here we go. Might go.
I'm gonna say mate.
Might go for a ride on the pushy today. On the
That wasn't half bad.
on the way back, I'll drop into the servo and grab a slushie.
Yeah.
then kick back this arvo and chill out. Maybe have a feed later on.
Oh, yeah. Like he said, good work. It wasn't half bad, to be honest. Actually, it was pretty darn decent. I mean, she is just exposing that she has some kind of a background, because there is no way you'd be able to do that if you didn't have some kind of Australian background. And given the fact that she said she went to school in Australia, she clearly has multiple years of experience, and especially just generally with him around, you're going to be picking up on so many things. So besides the fact that you can see her brain just crunching all the numbers and so it's a little bit slow, she did pretty well.
Good work.
I'm so Australian. Okay, last one.
Packed myself some bangers and mash for smoko today. One of the fellas was trying to bum a ciggy, but I don't smoke, so I had to tell him to bugger off.
Oh, wow.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, like she said, wow. If there is anyone in the comments that just has no prior Australian knowledge and they are able to figure that one out, that is an absolute gold star to them, because that is difficult. Like I said earlier, when you're just putting the entire word together and you have to try and decipher the whole thing on the fly, and you don't get to listen to it twice if you're in a conversation with someone, that would absolutely be difficult. And I guess that's where she has the advantage, because then she can read the whole sentence and break it down, which I guess would be a little bit more fair because she does have to try and translate, but that would be where the real skill lies. If she could just immediately just punch it straight back in the translation form, that would be very impressive.
Okay, pack myself some bangers and mash. Pack myself some sausages and potatoes.
I think bangers and mash is
Yeah, but you guys adopted it.
Yeah,
okay, but it's sausages and potatoes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mashed
So pack myself some sausages and potatoes for smoko. Smoko is lunch break.
Yes.
Lunch break today.
Construction lunch break.
One of the fellas, like one of the guys from work, was trying to bum a ciggy, was trying to get a cigarette off me.
Yes.
But I don't smoke, pretty standard. So I had to tell him to bugger off, so I had to tell him to screw off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. High five. Good work.
Am I Australian yet?
Yeah.
Not
Oh.
quite.
I was about to say, no, not quite, and then he said it for me. I mean, that entire sentence is generally going to be focused, or it's definitely derived from the construction world. You know, the word smoko is in there, which is a construction introduction term, let alone the fact you got some random guy trying to bum a ciggy off you and you had to tell them to go get buggered off. I can just see that happening in every demountable in Sydney and all over Australia in general. But even though they did say that that was the last sentence, and there is a lot to learn, there are so many different individual slang terms in Australia, you could just make so many sentences that people would have no idea what you're talking about. It definitely provides a good basis. Like, what have we learned? We learned bangers and match, which, like they said, it was a UK thing. You've got pushy in there, you've got servo in there, you've got arvo in there. There's been plenty of words that can just provide a nice base for people to start being able to translate some more Australian, just common kind of sentences that you might hear. And so even though this was an Australian versus Canadian accent video, and we got to hear all of those similarities and differences at the start, you know, banana, tomato, tomato, all these different things, I also think it makes a lot of sense to be breaking down and translating these sentences that, like I said, are pretty common, or you would definitely hear some of these words in day-to-day life. And I'm fairly sure that it would stump a whole bundle of people going, what did you just say? I have no idea, you lost me from word 2. And so even though I do now know a whole bundle of Canadian words, it would be interesting to see, can I translate, maybe even in real time, but can I translate an entire Canadian sentence? That would be a true test, and see if I even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to do the YouTube algorithm things down below. Also, if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, then make sure to go check out any other ones I've done. Also, make sure to go check out the original video down in the description below, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.